Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining tonight's webinar, which is all about support your U of G journey. Before we begin, I would like to acknowledge that the University of Guelph resides in the land of the Between the Lakes Treaty Number 3, the territory of the Mississaugas of the Credit. This land is a part of the Dish with One Spoon, a covenant between Indigenous nations to live peaceably on the territories of the Great Lakes region. We recognize that this gathering place is home to many First Nations, Inuit, and Métis people, and acknowledging them reminds us of our responsibility to the land where we work and live. My name is Jessie Kennedy, and I'm proud to be the host of the webinar series. I'm the liaison officer for secondary school recruitment. Fun fact about me, I actually visited the University of Guelph campus when I was in grade 6 for a science class trip. I've also traveled to British Columbia and East Coast during a non-COVID year to meet with our future Griffins and teach them everything that they needed to know about the University of Guelph. And I'm also a dog aunt. I don't have a dog of my own, but I have lots of friends' dogs that I get to look after. And Guelph is a very dog-friendly city, so it's a great place to be if you love animals. Each week, I host a different webinar on varying topics. We've had everything from learning about the admission plan, City of Guelph. We had one all about enhancing your University of Guelph degree, where we talked about the difference between a major, a minor, co-op. And tonight is all about supporting our students' journey while being Guelph Griffins. If you've missed any of the previous webinars, they will be posted on our website very shortly, and you'll be able to access all of them. And we have a few coming up before the holidays, so be sure to check out the website to see which webinar will be coming up next. In terms of the presentation tonight, we'll be going through some introductions of our guest speakers. We'll be talking about our wellness department, student accessibility services, library, and the academic support that we have for students. And then we'll have a live Q&A at the end of the presentation. But if you have any questions throughout the session tonight, please feel free to use the Q&A feature, and my colleague Michelle will be responding to those throughout the presentation. So at this time, I'd like to introduce Bethany to our audience.
Hi everyone, I'm Bethany Parkinson, and thank you so much, Jessie, for the introduction. So I'm a student wellness mental health navigator. So I work out of student wellness, which I'll talk a bit more throughout this presentation. So my role is I'm a student wellness mental health navigator. So I'm the first point of contact for students when they're reaching out for mental health or any wellness related support. So I connect students with resources both within the community, and right now, due to a lot of students being at home this semester, I also connect them with their home communities and getting support there, as well as their campus communities. So connecting them with counseling, with other wellness services, with professors, with program counselors. So I'm basically the connection to your wellness for campus. Just a little bit about me. So I am a UAG alumni. Guelph is definitely my home, and I'm so happy to be back here working. So I completed my undergrad in sociology. I was also a residence assistant. So if you know a little bit about residents, there's residence assistants, they're support people, and they really connect you with the residence community. So I've lived and worked in every residence on campus. I also live on my family's farm, so I help operate as well. So Guelph is an agriculture school, so very much have that support and that connection to Guelph as well.
Great, thanks so much, Bethany. So happy that you are here tonight to chat with our future Griffins, and Bethany will be kind of kicking us off in a few moments to talk all about wellness. And next up, we have Melanie from our library.
Hi, Jessie. Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me. So I'm Melanie, and I'm a librarian here at the university, and my role is mainly about supporting students in their research goals. All of my about me facts are way less useful than the about facts from other people, but that's okay. We don't always have to be useful. So it might be useful for you to know that there's a cat here, just like I said there would be. This is Pickle. He just loves hanging out when I am doing online conferences. Also, just because I wanted to brag, everybody should know that Neil Gaiman, famed writer of novels, comic books, and television shows, once held my hand and looked off into space very wistfully. It was like a great moment for me. And also, because I'm very, very stubborn, I want people to know that I make a lot of comics, dumb little comics, in stark defiance of the fact that I have no artistic skills whatsoever.
Great. Thank you so much, Melanie, for joining us tonight. And hopefully we'll see your cats throughout your presentation when we get to your section in a little bit.
Great.
So heading into the session tonight, we really just want to emphasize that support can mean a lot of different things to everyone. So whether that is physical, mental, emotional support, maybe academic support and transitioning from high school to university. And so that's why with this webinar, we're going to showcase some of the resources that we have available to U of G students. But please know that this is really just scratching the surface, and there are so many different departments and resources that you can access during your time as a student, and also really start that research process now and reaching out to our different departments and asking about how we can support you when you're a University of Guelph student. And so I hope this provides a lot of information to you tonight. We'll be happy to share contact info for our guest speakers and their departments in the session as well. So if you have any questions, additionally after the presentation tonight, we'll be sure to provide you with that contact info. I know for me, academic support was something that I really needed at the university, and found that Guelph took a very much proactive approach to having those different types of resources and workshops and skills that our students could help them when they're navigating, writing their very first university paper, how to sign out a book from the library, how to cite different things, so different styles, APA versus MLA. There's a lot of university lingo to understand as well. But for some of my other friends, they found that they needed more of the mental and emotional support. So they accessed many of our resources that are found within our wellness department. So with that, I'm going to turn things over to Bethany, and she'll be talking about some of the services that her department offers.
Thanks so much, Jessie. So on the first slide there, you saw a picture of our J.C. Powell Building. So the J.C. Powell Building has been around for a while, but it was recently renovated, and we reopened in 2019. So initially, all of our student wellness services were kind of all over campus, but we wanted to make it a lot more accessible for students. So now all of our student wellness services are under one roof in the J.C. Powell Building. So our services is a department part of student affairs, and we have a mandate, and we really want to encourage supporting students when they're at university and making their experience as best as it can be, and providing that support to them. Personally, my ultimate goal when I'm working with students is to ensure that they learn and take away wellness skills during their university career, so that they can carry those on with them throughout life. So within student wellness, we do have 7 different units, so including wellness, education and promotion, health services, health and performance center, student accessibility, counseling services, sexual violence support, and the student support network. So first, with our wellness, education and promotion, so we have quite a few resources. It's essentially like a mini education department within our department. So there's many health awareness programs on campus, as well as workshops available. So if you want education basically on anything that has to do with wellness, so whether it's mental health issues, sexual health, substance use, nutrition and fitness, and healthy relationships, wellness is a great resource for that. Next, we have student health services. So student health services is essentially your family doctor that's away from home. So we provide health and medical services for U of G students who are registered under the university. So right now our appointments are mostly virtual, but once things get back up and running post-pandemic, our appointments will definitely be in person with doctors and nurses. So we have many different types of healthcare available on site in JT Powell within student health. So in addition to our family physicians that provide like routine care, as well as care if you do fall ill while you're a student at Guelph, we do have mental health appointments available in addition to physical health. So we have psychiatrists available from referral from a physician. We also have registered nursing care and registered dietitian care as well. So next is our Health and Performance Center, or HPC, and it's located on our second floor of our JT Powell building. So it has a variety of services available. I know a lot of our student athletes access the HPC a lot of great services that help treat and prevent sports and activity-related injuries. So essentially, if you need like a physiotherapist, a sports medicine doctor, massage, we have dietitians there as well, chiropractor, athletic therapists. So essentially, a lot more of the body and taking care of the health in your body is in the HPC. And counseling services. So I know this is a pretty popular service within student wellness. A lot of students access counseling support to focus more on like the mental health and emotional support that a lot of students find they need while attending university. I find personally like almost everyone needs to access counseling services within their lifetime. It's definitely as important as physical health. So what we offer within counseling services, so we have individual counseling, so that's meeting one-on-one, a counselor and a student. We also have walk-in services or drop-in counseling available from 12:30 to 3:30 p.m. Monday to Friday. So if you wanted to speak with a counselor same day, if you had an urgent concern, there are 30-minute drop-in appointments. We also have a variety of counseling groups available, which is great because you get support, from your counselor, as well as understanding that there are students in similar situations as yours. So a very popular group that we have that I actually facilitate on campus is our anxiety group or our cognitive behavior therapy group, specifically for anxiety and depression. We also have a lot of education support groups, so building healthy relationships, healthy eating, building social confidence. Our men's group, we also do have walking groups available too that are really beneficial for our students. And all of our services within student wellness are confidential, and the majority of them are free. The only exception is services within the Health and Performance Center, which I talked briefly before. So our student support network, so our SSN is a confidential, non-judgmental listening support that's provided by student volunteers. So it's essentially like getting peer support. A lot of times your peers have been through things that you're experiencing, and it's really nice to speak with, especially if you're in first year, to speak with an upper year student. I know when I was a student, I accessed the student support network just to get like that peer perspective and like support from someone who's been through it before. So a lot of information is available on the Student Support Network. I encourage you to reach out to our Student Wellness account on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. So a lot of great peer support available there, which is an awesome program that we have at the university. And if you do attend Guelph and you want to get connected as an actual peer with a Student Support Network when you're an upper year student, we do have those positions available.
Great. Thanks so much, Bethany. And that's a really good segue to talking about opportunities for students on campus, because we know that a lot of students might have an interest in the mental health field for maybe their career paths that they want to go into after. I know one of my colleagues, she did a degree in Bachelor of Arts and Sciences. She specialized in neuroscience and psychology and is hoping to pursue a master's degree, and she worked in the student wellness department. So there's definitely lots of opportunities for students as well, if that's maybe building your resume both in a personal and a professional way to help with some of those job applications or post-grad schooling options that you're looking at. So the other department that Bethany's going to speak about is our student accessibility services. So Bethany, I'll hand it back over to you for talking about our SAS department.
Yeah, so our SAS department, it's an awesome and great inclusive department available for students. We want to ensure that we do provide academic but also wellness support for students, whether they have a disability or not. So we do have intake available for student accessibility. So it is available starting November 1st. And the supplemental information form for students with disabilities, like I said, it's available November 1st with a deadline of May 1st. With admission for student accessibility, we provide accessible admission materials. So when you're applying to Guelph, there is accessible admission material available, as well as consultations with Sas Advisors. So documentation. So for getting connected with student accessibility, if you do have an IEP within school right now, that is acceptable documentation. With our documentation guidelines, we essentially have an emphasis on functional abilities, so abilities that you utilize and you use part of your academic performance. With our intake for student accessibility, we often get students to complete a functional assessment with their healthcare practitioner or someone that has provided them a disability diagnosis, and that information is available on our student wellness website. So this summer, before you arrive to Guelph, we encourage students with disabilities to contact SAS by June 15th, just to get the process started. The reasoning for this is there is programming throughout the summer to kind of get you prepared and integrated to what your academics and connection to SAS will look like. And we also do have Start Accessible. So it's a program at the start of orientation week to get students like integrated and essentially to find out more about SAS and what university life will look like. And for the upcoming school year, it will be September 1st to 3rd in 2021. And SAS Advisors. So I work with a great team of SAS Advisors. They have very specific units depending on disability. So they're categorized into ADHD support, mental health support, physical disability, and learning disability. So once you get registered with student accessibility, you're matched with or assigned to a specific advisor that specializes in the disability that you do need support with. We offer booked appointments and daily drop-in. It's a very collaborative approach. So we really want students to be treated as whole people and let them be like directed in their academics and the support that they do require while they're on campus and while they are students. So you're essentially in control of your academics, and your SAS advisor is there to support and be with you along the way.
Great, thanks so much, Bethany. And I think what's so incredible about our SAS team is that we know that everyone's disability they need different types of support. So it's not just kind of like a one size fits all. And if you have this type of disability, these are the supports that we're going to offer you. We know that some students might need to write their exams in a quiet space. Maybe some students need notes sent to them. So I know when I was in university, we would often get emails and the professors would be asking for someone to send in their notes through a program, and then it could help a student who maybe is unable to take notes in class. So there's definitely lots of different supports that we have available, and that's really the role of the SAS advisors, to connect with you and see what supports that we can offer you as a student.
Yeah.
Great, thanks so much. So with that, we will segue into our next section for library. And if you have any questions for Bethany, feel free to pop them in the chat and we will have a live Q&A at the end of the session. So at this time, I'd like to bring Melanie back on.
Hello, Pickle and I have returned to talk about the library. Everybody's favorite part. So study spaces at the library. This is the thing I could spend this entire webinar just talking about the study spaces here, because I think that they are the most visible example of how much the library considers and thinks about what will work for students. In the library, we have study spaces if you want to study completely by yourself. We have space if you want to study with a bunch of other people. We have space if you want to study with strangers, if you want to study with people in your class or friends. We have space if you want to study quietly, so no talking. We have space if you want to study with like a hum of noise around you. There are bright spaces, there are dark spaces, there are comfy seats, there are places you can stand at tables, there are more like rigid table structures, different kinds of like solo desk structures. There's even like, there's a Starbucks in the library. I think it is the best Starbucks on campus, maybe the best Starbucks in the city. And people have meetings in that Starbucks all the time, but also people love to study in there. If you can't find study space in the Starbucks, don't worry, because food and beverages are allowed everywhere in the library. So you could always grab something and then go to another part of the library. Oh. So even though I just talked a whole bunch about how great the study space is and how much I could go on and on about it, I really think that the support that's available through the library is the very best thing that we do. And just like the study space is so visible, the support we offer is often a little bit invisible because it's the kind of thing that a lot of people don't know exists unless they actually need it and they go looking for it. So we offer support with research, with writing, studying, both studying as an individual and studying among groups. And all of these different supports are available for free. You are not paying any more money to access them. The appointments right now are exclusively online, but in the past and hopefully in the future, they will be available both online and in person. So research support is available on a drop-in basis, or if you need something a little bit more in-depth, you can make an appointment to meet with somebody. This is the work that I do on a daily basis. I meet with students all the time to give them support in their research. It's one of my favorite things that I do because I get to hear all about the different projects that students are working on, but then I don't have to do any of the writing. I don't have to write any papers. So it's kind of an ideal scenario. The things that I generally help students with are looking for information for assignments, understanding what a scholarly source is or a peer-reviewed source, what are all the different kinds of information, what are the tools, what are some strategies. I also give students a lot of support on building their citations for their papers. So writing support, I think, is the most popular service that is available in the library. This is the one where when I say to people, have you ever done this? Mostly people say yes. And the people who work in writing are just wonderful people, so I don't blame anybody for going back for these services. So these are one-on-one appointments, usually with other students, peer helpers, who have been trained on how to help you with your writing. And they give you feedback on things like the structure, the flow, and the clarity of your writing, and they'll work with you on strategies for developing an outline or writing a thesis statement. They help with any kind of paper that you can think of. So they'll help with like the traditional sort of narrative or topic essays, but they can also help you with reports or literature reviews or any kind of writing that you have to do in your studies. And there's also dedicated staff who support students who speak English as an additional language. So if you're concerned at all about writing in English, we have people who can absolutely help you with that. Study support is the thing that I'm like, this is like the best kept secret of the library. I don't know. I think it is amazing. I wish I had access to this when I was an undergrad. So this kind of support works very similar to the writing support in that it is one-on-one appointments with other students who are a little bit more senior in their degree and they've had training on how to support you. And the kind of support that is involved in the study support is a lot of stuff that is just involved with what it is like to be learning in a university environment. So they can give you support with things like how to manage your time now that you have all of this new wonderful autonomy. They also give you support with like how to study for an exam, how to read an academic article, how to prepare for a presentation, how to like take notes in a class. So it's all like amazing stuff that is going to like it's less visible than the output of a paper that you write, but it's all the stuff that is going to inform how you learn when you're in your classes. And then SLG is another kind of study support. So SLG stands for Supported Learning Groups. And this is more focused on like group study. So the way SLG works is that some of the classes at the university that are historically pretty challenging at the first and second year level, an SLG, a supported learning group will form for that class. And it will be led by an SLG leader who is somebody who has taken that class before and done really well in it. And now this semester, they're attending the class just to like make sure they know what's going on, but they're not like taking the class as a student. And then they lead the study group for that class. So they know what's going on. They know how to like work this class. They've done really well in it. It's a really, really amazing program that is not available for every class at the university, just some of those more challenging ones. And attending the SLG sessions are really easy and low barrier. They're all happening online right now. You don't have to sign up for them in advance. You can just drop in, look at the schedule, and see what you want to go to. And they're a really great way to like meet other people in your class and maybe make some friends and start to build some relationships.
Thanks so much, Melanie. I actually remember one of the SLGs that I attended, Psych 1000, which I'm pretty sure every university student will take that at some point. And something that I found really helpful with it was I was understanding maybe the content, but when I was tested on it, I had no idea how multiple choice exams worked in university. So by having an SLG where the leader actually created a mock midterm, and then I was able to go through it, and then we had to bring it back the next week, and we kind of went through and talked about, what like understanding actually reading the question to know what they're asking. So it was definitely a great resource, and the library has incredible YouTube videos. I was looking at them today explaining some of these topics that Melanie discussed. So for any of our audience members, definitely head to their YouTube channel and you can see all the amazing videos and content that they've produced to really still provide those resources to students, especially in this virtual environment. And there's been some awesome workshops and training sessions. I've actually attended a couple as a staff member, so definitely some great resources that the library has been providing to our staff and our students as well. So thank you so much, Melanie.
Thank you.
So with that, before we head into the Q&A, just wanted to remind our audience members that there are so many different ways that you can continue the conversation with us and really just learn more about the university. I know it is a little bit more challenging in this virtual environment, but what we've tried to do is provide resources for you based on maybe what type of learner you are. So maybe for some people, they want to attend a presentation and just sit back and listen to guest speakers, but maybe for some of you, you need to have that one-on-one face-to-face conversation. So we have appointments where you can chat with our liaison officers through a video call, and just it's nice to see some human interaction and ask them really any questions that you might have about the program, maybe anything in terms of like the university life, the vibe, the community. All of our liaison officers are proud Guelph alumni, so they'd be happy to chat with you about their experiences. We also have different podcasts through many of our departments. So I know Griff Nation releases a podcast each week. And what's great about those is you can hear from the student experience. We've also interviewed some of our coaches and alumni. You can follow us on social media. We had a Griffin Games event last night, which was awesome. We played Kahoot, and the winner took home a $100 gift card to the bookstore. So be sure to continue to view our website to see some of those upcoming events. We just launched today that we're going to be having an admission how to apply webinar on December 15th. So there are lots of upcoming sessions that you can attend to learn more about the university. The webinar next week, hard to believe that it's December, but it is going to be all about living and dining on campus. So we'll have representatives from our Student Nutrition Awareness Program to talk about the meal plans and hospitality at the university. And then also we will have residents life staff, and they'll be talking about residents and what it's like to live on the U of G campus. So lots of great resources and webinars to come before we take a break for the holiday season. So with that, I'd like to open it up to questions. So for any of the participants, please feel free to pop something in the Q&A and we'd be happy to address it. Bethany, I actually have one question for you. Something that I get a lot from prospective students is if they are going to be filling out that SAFD form, I know there's a deadline, but if they are needing to get in contact with advisor, when should they be doing that? Like, is that something they should start now, wait till the winter semester? What advice could you share about that?
Yeah, they can definitely do it now if they just have like general questions. If they have questions specifically like after they've accepted their offer to Guelph, I would say like hold off for those until then, until they actually do start the process to get connected with SAS. But any questions you do have, our SAS team is great and they would be happy to answer any admissions related questions.
Perfect. Thanks so much. And I know Bethany talked a little bit about the amazing new building that we have. Unfortunately, the university closed kind of right before I was able to go for a tour and see it. So I'm definitely looking forward to the day where we can have people back on campus today and you can view the building. As Bethany mentioned in the beginning, it's nice that everything is under one roof right now. And we know that For U of G, we definitely take a very holistic approach to wellness for our students. And so it's great that we have all of our resources at one location. And Melanie, you talked a little bit about the library, the kind of the space and the study floors. It was actually funny last night. One of the questions I asked in Kahoot was how many floors does the library have? And people were shocked to know that we have 7 different floors in the library. I know for me, my favorite study space was probably the 4th floor or the 3rd floor, because I would typically head to the Science Commons. Could you maybe talk a little about what that is on the 3rd floor?
Yeah, so this the 3rd floor is like one of the coolest floors because it is like half book stacks and half study spaces, like the science commons, like you're talking about. So the science common, the math and like science commons is a really cool looking study space on the 3rd floor where during normal operations, when we're all like at the library, a lot of math and science and physics TAs go there to hold their office hours. So students can just like drop by during those hours to ask questions of their TAs. And, you know, obviously like since we're not like people can't go into the 3rd floor right now, the library is partially closed. But the as far as I know, like the math and stats and all of those tutors, that's still happening just online.
Perfect. And I feel like I would be doing a disservice if I didn't talk about Take a Pause. I know
knew
that's
what you were
something
gonna say.
that Melanie have done. We've done a couple of presentations together, and we have to talk about it. Definitely one of my favorite parts of the library. So Melanie, maybe do you want to tell our audience what Take a Pause is?
For sure. Take a Pause is part of a bigger event that happens at the library. So every semester during the exam period, we do a series of events called Exam Stress Busters. And the events are all supposed to be just fun things that are designed to help students take a break and like lighten their load a bit and just maybe stop thinking of exams for a couple of minutes. And one of the events from Exam Stress Busters, the most popular event from Exam Stress Busters, is Take a Pause, where for a few days in the library, for a few hours each of those days, we bring dogs into the library and students can sign up for a time spot to just meet the dog and like pet the dog and love the dog and just like it is. I love it. Like, I don't get to make an appointment because I'm not a student, and so I don't have to write exams. But sometimes I volunteer to help out, and so I get to like walk the dogs in from the parking lot or something. And even that is like a joyous occasion for me. It's so popular. I'm telling you, like, as soon as you hear about Take a Pause, jump on an appointment because it always fills up.
Yeah, it definitely fills up very quickly. I've been lucky enough to get a media pass because I used to work on our marketing team. So we were promoting it on social media, and it was definitely always a great event. And to our audience members, definitely follow the U of G library on social media. It's just a great way to see the types of resources and workshops that we have available for our current students, and can just give you a bit of a sneak peek into what supports you can expect when you are a Griffin.
I keep asking them if they want me to bring my cats in for Take a Pause, and they have not taken me up on that offer.
No? Well, I think after seeing Pickleton, I'm sure we love him at the library. And maybe just as we're wrapping up here, Bethany, you mentioned one of the workshops that you run is about like anxiety for students. And I know for a lot of students right now, it can be super overwhelming with trying to pick a university from a virtual environment. So maybe any advice that you have to share with our students as they're going through this process of trying to pick a university?
Absolutely. I would say pick the university based on like the program that you want to go into, but also so much more than the academic part of it. Pick the university based on like the services that are available with the campus and with the school. It's just your university experience is just so much more than your actual program. It's the place where you're going to eat, where you're going to live, the library you're going to access, the wellness services you're going to access, the athletics that you're going to access, and really look into that. Look into a place where you feel like you would feel most at home too. So for me, that was definitely Guelph, the community. I know you've done webinars on the community, so the Guelph community. So look in the city too and see which one you would feel best support you. And I would say go with that pick.
Perfect. Thank you so much. And the webinar that I believe it was last week, the days are blending together, but I did one, it was for parents and supporting members. And I had one of the guest speakers that I had, Maya, she was a current U of G student. She graduated this past year and she's now our social media intern. And one of the questions that we received from our audience members was, how would you describe the vibe at the university? They said our son is trying to, pick a university to go to, but it's very difficult when you're not actually able to tour the campus and see it in person. And Maya, the smile across her face when she answered this question, and just to see her passion with the university. And I think everyone that I've ever talked to that has gone to the U of G said really the community, the support, and the atmosphere are the main reasons that they chose the university. And so my advice to you as well, in addition to everything Bethany said, is to also talk to your friends, talk to family members, anyone that you know that has gone to the universities, talk to them about their experience, because it's really helpful to chat with the former alumni on why they chose the university and why it was the right fit for them. So if you're able to, definitely talk to some alumni and it can really help with the decision. So with that, that really concludes the webinar portion for tonight. I'd like to thank Michelle for answering questions on the back end, and to Bethany and Melanie, thank you so much for joining us. I know it's a very busy time for all of our departments right now, so I really appreciate you taking the time out of your schedule to chat with our students tonight. And to all the future Griffins that attended, I hope you found this helpful. As a reminder, the next webinar is set for next week, December 3rd. It'll also be at 6 o'clock, Living and Dining on Campus. And this webinar is recorded and it will be posted on our website very shortly. So stay tuned for that, and all the best with your application. And I hope you have a great night. Thanks so much, everyone.